Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, I'm going to take a look at something that most of you probably have never heard of or seen. I've only got this one issue. And this is from Dell Comics, Dracula, 1967. But this is not the Dracula you think it is. No. This is a superhero version of Dracula. Yeah. There was, at this time, Dell Comics tried using 3 of the classic Universal horror monsters and transforming them into superheroes. One was Dracula, one was Frankenstein, and one was the Wolfman or werewolf. I don't know how they I haven't never seen that. I don't know how they titled that, because I think they probably could not use the name Wolfman due to copyright with Universal Pictures. And they were all about the same time, and they had some minor crossover. And so, this is Dracula number 4 from 1967, Dell Comics, and it was written by either Don Segall or DJ Arneson. I saw listings for both, and with art by either or Tony Tallerico or Bill Fracchio. Or maybe they work together. I don't know. Again, I saw listings for both. And, of course, Dracula is a superhero version based on the classic Bram Stoker literary character Dracula, published by Dell Comics. The title was part of a line of 3 superheroes based on the classic Universal monster characters, Dracula, Frankenstein, and the werewolf. The title lasted for 3 issues from 66 to 67, and they were issues 2 through 4. Issue number 1 was the Dell adaptation of the Universal Dracula movie published in 1962, which I've never seen, but I believe our friend on Dope Comics has that, and I think he's shown that. I'd love to get a copy of that. And they had done an adaptation of some of these others. I'm not sure. I think they did Frankenstein. I don't know if they did one of the Wolfman, and they had one of the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And Dope has also shown that because he's got a copy. And later in 72 and 73, those 3 issues were reprinted as issues 6 through 8. In the comic, the character is a descendant of the classic Count Dracula, and is a medical scientist working out of his Transylvanian castle. As part of a medical cure, he accidentally creates a serum which gives him batty powers, the ability to turn into a bat, and the heightened senses of a bat. And it sounds kind of makes me think a lot of Morbius, the Living Vampire. Except this guy's not a vampire. And it enables him to change into a bat, which he uses, this power he uses to stop menaces, protect people, and fight evil and superstition. His primary motivator is to try to what's the word I'm trying to think of? try to restore his family name from the evil associated with it. And so he's not traveling. He's not living under the name Dracula. That is his superhero moniker. He is using the name Alucard, which the first time we saw that was in one of the classic Dracula movies. And so his full pseudonym is Aloysius Ulysses Card. Alucard. And even today, and was it Castlevania, they use Alucard. I don't know, I've never played it. So, and I saw something on her like, how could Dell have gotten away with that? Because this is when the comics code was pretty strong. How they get away with using, and it was against vampirism and supernatural stuff. Well, for two reasons here. One is this version of Dracula isn't a vampire, so that has no effect on him. And two, Dell Comics was not in any way affiliated with the Comics Code Authority, both Dell and Gold Key. And so, because they had been big enough to ensure distribution regardless of the presence of the Comics Code, even though it basically brought down the EC Comics. So here we have Dracula. Of course, this is a very rough copy. You can see a couple of pieces missing, all kinds of damage to it. Rusty staples, which has damaged some of the, and some water damage, and has damaged some of the paper inside. But it's quite readable, and I would love to, if I can just find them in this condition, this good of condition. Like to get the other issues, Frankenstein, and especially the Dell adaptations of the Universal movies. Dracula's Secret Cave, the origin of Fleta, and Dracula finds his specialty. 3 stories in here, and of course, this character is intended to pick up a little bit of the Batman craze by making him very similar to Batman, but still without getting too far afield from the classic Dracula. And it starts off, we get this splash page. Oh, the lady falling. And it goes, I've got to save her, even if it means revealing my secret identity. Well, apparently in the first couple of issues, it had all taken place in Europe. He came to America on a ship when they still were still using steamships for ocean liners to transport regular people instead of now just for cruises and stuff. And so he's just got to New York, and apparently in the previous issue he had made a friend on the ship, this lady. And so here we go. He's in Central Park in New York. He picks up he goes, who is Dracula? Who is Dracula? See all this stuff in the paper, and then he's looking at the paper, and someone comes up and puts a hand around and goes, "Hi, Dracula." I go, "Huh?" And it's his friend, BB. Yes, that stupid name, BB. And she's just goofing around, and they go for a little lunch or something, and then we get a flashback to his he's working on a serum. He had accidentally created the serum that allows him to turn into a bat, but it's temporary, and he's working on a permanent version of it right now. But he needs to find someplace away, because she had been watching him, his apartment, so he almost never comes out. And said, "Oh, if that's good, I have to find a more secure place for my laboratory, etc." So they're chatting, and she invites him to a party at her family's estate outside the city, up in a mountainous area. So he does. He said, maybe I can find something. He's out there, and she's telling him. Of course, she knows nothing about him actually being Dracula, and happens to mention that just off their estate is a series of caves that is a now abandoned government radar station. And then we see the entrance to the cave, and they're walking around, and then she has a surprise. Oh, see, I'm gonna, while you're all here, you can watch my first. Since this gal is very capable, and she's always doing all kinds of extreme sports, and she's into judo and stuff like that. And now going to be her first skydive. So she goes up in the plane. He's wandering around looking while everyone else is distracted. She comes out of the plane, and her chute gets all tangled up. And she can't release her reserve chute. He sees it, turns into his bat, flies up there. Boy, she must be falling awfully slow. And but as in his bat form, he can't help her. So he turns back into his human form, and she goes, "It's you. I made it. The chute's open now. You'll be safe." She opens. She lands safely, and he had flown back. Well, he gets back, gets in his car, and about to take off, and she stops him. "Don't wait. Don't. I didn't tell anybody. You're safe." And he tells her about his needs, and they go to the knows a way into that former radar station. And here's a cross section of the cave. Living quarters, labs, bat cages, etc. And they spend time setting everything up here. Then later, the next one, the origin of Flida. Sometime later, she's messing around in his lab, and he stops her just before she can drink some of that bat changing serum, because he can change at will, but the serum has only temporary effect, and she's had come to him, well, and so she leaves, and she doesn't tell her that he's working on this permanent serum, and she calls him later, and wants to invite him to the beach. She's driving this bus, taking this bunch of kids for some fun at the beach. And so she goes there, and he says, "Sorry, I can't make it," because he's so close to finishing his serum. But she drives out there, and there's this goofy looking costumed character, and he calls himself the Evil Piper, and he does the Pied Piper thing. He can control the minds of children when he plays his music. And the kids walk off, and then BB notices, and she sees, oh, his plan is to use kids, because no one will attack kids, right? And use them to steal anything and everything he wants in the city. So he's trying to lead them back. She tries to stop him, but the page just popped out. She uses her judo. She does a good job, but he throws some sand in her face, and then has the kids attack her, tie her up, and put her in the bus, and then he forces the bus over the side, woo, sploosh, over this cliff into the water. Boom. Meanwhile, he had perfected his permanent serum, says, and the effect, and used it on himself. Now it's permanent. So I think I'll join BB and the kids. He turns into the bat, starts flying to the beach, sees BB's bus, and other than that, he has no superpowers. His strength is all normal human. He's just like Batman, trained himself to a high degree, so that he is just stronger than most normal people, but he's still only human strength. Saves her. She swims ashore. She borrows a pickup from a fisherman, drives back to the cliff where the kids are, and Dracula confronts them, and she sees him up there. Oh, what are we going to do? Well, there's all this netting. She has a plan. She sets up some nets and climbs up the side while Dracula is confronting this fellow because he says he's going to if he attacks him, going to cause the kids to jump to their deaths. Well, BB realizes that the kids are suggestible. So when she gets to the surface, that's actually a nice drawing right there of her. That's probably the best drawing, and this kid too. Probably some of the best figures in the whole book, because this is very old, and while not bad, very old-fashioned type of draftsmanship. Anyway, she yells for the kids to jump, and the kids turn around and jump and go, no! And Dracula cleans the Piper's clock and then confronts BB, and she says, look, she set up the net so the kids were all safe, and now they're back, going back into the thing. She rushes in, and she, no, don't drink it. It's too late. I already have. So now she has partaken of the permanent solution. So she has been gets what she has been wanting, to team up with Dracula, and she becomes Fleda. Now Fleda comes from der Fledermaus, and Fledermaus is German for bat. So she has shortened it to Fleda. And here we see her in her costume for the first time. Then we have the last story. I'll just do this one quickly. She's training. They hear about some stuff in the city. They go to help, but Frankenstein has already taken care of it. And then they say, well, we need to find something else. They find they want to specialize in something, some type of villainy. And they figure here's this guy who using ghosts bilks people out of bajillions of dollars. So they set up this trap, get the guy Hobgoblin. His name is Hobgoblin. And he's supposed to be a medium, comes to see the little old lady, wants to get info from her husband, see her late husband. He sets it up as with a fake ghost and everything, and some of that old spiritual stuff, and then Dracula turns into a bat, and Fleda, she takes off the costume. She's not an old lady, she's actually Fleda, and they catch the guy after he takes a few pot shots at him. They work together, take the guy down, and he is turned over to the cops. Ta-da! And that is the end of Dell Comics Dracula. Not just Dracula number 4, but the end of the Dell Comics Dracula run. So, and it is some fun. It's totally unusual, something I until probably a year or so ago I had never even heard of, and it's quite interesting, and I'd like to find some of the others sometime. So that's all I've got for you this time, and I hope you enjoyed that little bit of nonsense. Thanks for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe, and do leave your comments down below. Were you aware of this version of Dracula and the others? Have you seen them? Do you own them? Have you read any of them? Any of that info? And what did you think of that silliness? And remember, people, comics are art.